Dazai is a depressed middle-aged man with nothing to look forward to in life, so he gives up and decides to end it all. On a cold, rainy day, Dazai and his lover are seen walking together without an umbrella until they arrive at a clearing with a raging river. This is exactly what Dazai was hoping for, since the rain made the river strong enough to sweep a person away, and right now, he wants to be that person. He and Saken came here today because they are sick of this world and plan isekai themselves by drowning in the River Kun together. This way, they will be able to keep their promise to always be together, so before they jump in, they tie their arms together in solidarity. However, as we all know, there is only one true king of isekai, and he isn't going to let his job get stolen. So despite them being in the middle of the forest, Truck Kun shows up out of nowhere to take them out before River Kun does, even if it doesn't make much sense. In the next moment, Dazai wakes up in a cathedral, and as he gets up, he is greatly confused by everything he sees around him, but he just assumes this must be the world people get sent to after they die. The style is different from what he's used to, but he will get used to it eventually. Just then, a voice calls out to him and explains to Dazai that he has been summoned here as the hero of this world. The woman's name is Annette, and she says she is tasked with guiding those who end up here. To prove that this is indeed another world, she directs him to look out this window as a dragon and various other mythical creatures are seen roaming around in the world of Zauberberg. She tells Dazai that he is destined to become the hero of this world and restore the light, but he doesn't seem too happy about it. He wanted one thing, and that was to die alongside his lover Saken. But not only did he end up in a fantasy adventure instead, Saken isn't even here with him, so he feels like he has broken his promise to die with her. Oh well, that just means he has to try dying again, so Dazai chugs an entire bottle of pills and patiently waits for the sweet embrace of death by overdose. Annette freaks out after seeing Dazai poison himself, so she immediately begins using magic to detoxify his body, but as Dazai regains consciousness, he tells her to stop trying to save him because it's really inconvenient. She doesn't listen to him and asks Dazai to stand up so he can fulfill his mission as this world's savior. However, Dazai doesn't even want to save himself, much less a random world that he just ended up in. He never asked to end up here in the first place, but this surprises Annette, so she asks if he happened to get hit by a truck. Dazai recalls a brief encounter with a truck, so Annette explains that she hired Truck Kun to isekai people here as part of the service she offers. The way it works is simple. Truck Kun finds someone who is depressed or deeply unhappy with their life, which is why he usually camps outside League of Legends tournaments. But after he has run over his target, they get sent to this world and get a second chance to live a happy life, and they usually end up feeling better. The fact that Dazai got run over means he must have been really unhappy with his life, so she doesn't see why he wouldn't be excited for a second chance. While she may be right about Dazai's old life being miserable, that doesn't mean he is going to be any happier in this world. In fact, he is pretty pissed that Annette and her isekai service ruined what was meant to be the perfect conclusion to his story. All he wanted was to spend his last moments of life with his lover, but she had to go and ruin it for him. Annette can't believe Dazai is so upset with her, but she's not worried about it since he will surely change his opinion once he gets to see his awesome stats. However, as she opens the stat window, she is shocked to see that Dazai possesses abysmally low health and mana. In fact, his health is so low that he would probably die from a stiff breeze in his current state. Annette refuses to believe Dazai is so weak, so she checks to see if he has some kind of broken ability to balance out his weak stats. But as she opens his ability window, she finds out that Dazai has no skills at all aside from Depression level 5. Dazai is basically a glass cannon, but with no cannonballs, so Annette doesn't know what to do with him since something like this has never happened before. Dazai decides to leave the cathedral since there's nothing left for him here, but Annette feels the need to make up for her mistake, so she grabs Dazai's hand and apologizes for having him brought to this world since he wasn't meant to come here. She unfortunately doesn't have the power to send him back to Earth, but she can't let him go and live by himself either since he wouldn't last 10 minutes outside with his current stat points. Dazai isn't surprised to learn that he's incredibly weak since no matter where he goes, he has always been a failure. Annette apologizes once more for her mistake and pleads with Dazai to stay in the cathedral for the time being since it's not safe for him to go outside. With his current stats, he would just end up getting snatched by a dragon or something, so she thinks it's in his best interest to wait before he does anything dangerous. Dazai thanks her for worrying about him, but he says her concern isn't needed since he is just looking for a place to die. Hearing him say this leads Annette to think that he may actually be different from all the others. When she first took this job, she was genuinely excited to guide the summoned heroes on their journeys, but since most of them were depressed League players, they were so annoying to be around that she ended up hating her job. Her tasks can basically devolve into ego-stroking the heroes to get them to accept the mission, but it's different with Dazai. As he's about to walk out, Annette drops her staff and chases after Dazai, pleading with him to at least pick a profession before he leaves, but Daze turns to her and says there's no need for that since he is a natural-born writer, and that's all he will ever be. With that, he closes the door behind himself and says goodbye to Annette. And once Dazai is gone, Annette falls to the floor and begins thinking about how Dazai is the exact kind of person she has been waiting for. Meanwhile, Dazai has made it to some plains outside and is trying to get directions from a sign, but he doesn't understand a single word on it, so he just goes back to popping pills. Just then, he hears a voice saying he has just spotted a landmark, so 5 points of experience have been awarded. He may just be high off the pills, but he could swear that sound just came from his head, and it really hurts since he suffers from migraines, so he tries to get it to stop. However, celebration music goes off in his head as he has now gone up to level 2, and the resulting migraines make him want to die even more. Just then, he hears a girl screaming for help nearby, so he turns around and sees the girl getting assaulted by a death tree. She notices Daze and asks him to help her since she'll be killed by the tree if she doesn't escape soon, and the tree seems to be wrapping her in its branches more and more by the second. Daze just stands there as the tree fondles the girl, and he seems to be enjoying the show. So much so that he asks her if she's okay about him writing a novel about this later, but the girl doesn't care about any novels and just wants Daze to rescue her already. To his credit, Daze gives it his best shot, but he can't reach her at all, so he just gives up. So the tree grabs him by the neck and hangs him up next to the girl. There's nothing he can do about it now, so Daze just introduces himself to the girl while he's hanging and says they are probably not going to last much longer. The girl blames Daze for their predicament since he couldn't do anything to stop the death tree. And now that they have been captured, the death tree is going to use its suction ability to suck out all the nutrition from their bodies, so in the next few minutes they're guaranteed to be dead. Daze says he's happy to hear that, but this freaks the girl out because what kind of lunatic would want to die by getting himself sucked dry? As Daze starts feeling weak, he looks like he's about to bust before suddenly slumping over. The girl starts to panic thinking Daze has actually died, but moments later, the branch that was strangling Daze begins to wither away, and the death tree ends up being destroyed because of it. The girl and Daze are freed as the tree disintegrates, but Daze is disappointed that he failed to die again. Thanks to his inadvertent victory, Daze levels up again, and the girl is left confused and amazed because she believes Daze intentionally made the death tree die by absorbing the poison in his body, but she also finds it weird that Daze would poison himself to begin with. She thanks Daze for saving her, while also apologizing for calling him useless earlier, but he doesn't think he did anything special. All he managed to do was fail to die, and he isn't happy about it in the slightest. The girl doesn't understand why Daze is depressed, but he saved her life, so she sincerely wants to thank him. She suddenly has an idea and invites Daze to come over to her house so she can express her gratitude properly, and Daze sees no issue with this. So as the girl extends her hand and asks what she should call him, he says she can call him Sensei. However, as he grabs her hand, he is reminded of Sakshan, and that gets him to wonder if she might have ended up in this world as well, and if that's the case, then he might be able to find and reunite with his love. He has finally found a reason to stay alive in this world, so he will make sure he finds Sakshan no matter where he is in the world, and when he does, they'll finally be able to die together. His motives may be questionable, but at least he's not actively trying to die anymore. With that said, he has no idea where to even start looking, so he heads back to Annette's cathedral, and Annette is overjoyed that he decided to come back to her, so she can finally shoot her shot. However, as the cat girl shows up behind Sensei, Annette freezes in shock because she hadn't thought Sensei would find a woman so soon after going outside for the first time. He says he has a question to ask Annette, so she prepares herself, thinking he wants to ask about her. But Sensei says he wants to find a girl named Sakshan, so he was hoping Annette might have some information on that. Annette is disappointed that Sensei is asking about another woman, but she doesn't have any good clues about where Sakshan might be, so Sensei is back to the drawing board. Since he has nowhere to go, he follows the cat girl to her house. The girl tells Sensei to cheer up since there is still plenty of time for him to find Sakshan, but since her house is still pretty far away, she suggests they should stop at the castle town of Roth so they can take a break. She then holds his hand so that she can lead him there. However, Annette is also here for some reason, and she won't stand for such unholy behavior while they are out in public. The cat girl yells at Annette for smacking her hand over something as trivial as hand-holding, and while she's on the topic of yelling at her, she questions why Annette is here in the first place, since it's not normal for a clergy to feel the need to abandon her post and follow people all the way out here. Annette doesn't really want to explain herself, but from the way she's looking at Sensei, the cat girl can already tell that she's in love with him. Annette denies having such impure intentions and claims that she is just here to watch over the weak otherworlder that she mistakenly summoned. As soon as the cat girl realizes that Sensei is from another world, She finally understands why he was so strong back when he saved her. Annette doesn't believe what the cat girl says since she saw Sensei's stats personally. The cat girl still asserts that Sensei must be strong since he was able to defeat a death tree and save her life in the process. But this is terrible news for Annette since Sensei saving the cat girl's life is the first step to developing a romance. She can't believe she's already losing her chance to cat girl, but while they've been bickering this whole time, Sensei found something really interesting. It's a coffin that's the perfect size for him, so he climbs inside and says he has been feeling dizzy ever since he came here, so he's going to take a nap for a while, and they should wake him up when they get to the Tao. After that, he says goodnight to Annette and the cat girl, but the cat girl is mad that he still isn't calling her by her name. So Annette jokes that Sensei likes her more because he can actually remember her name. After that, Annette cheerfully ties a rope to the coffin Sensei is sleeping in and begins dragging it away. The cat girl asks if Annette should really be doing all this since she is supposed to be a clergyperson at the cathedral, but Annette is too busy trying to pull the coffin until the rope eventually snaps. This was the end of episode 1. Subscribe to not miss the next part.